The Thrivehood Podcast is a relevant life roadmap for boys and young men who want to thrive as they mature into manhood. I'll be your host, Tim Williams, and welcome to Thrivehood. Derrick Henry. Oh, Derrick. Oh my gosh. Well, if you follow the NFL at all, and specifically the Tennessee Titans, which obviously I'm a big fan because I live here in Middle Tennessee, you might have heard the unfortunate news recently that Derrick Henry, the running back for the Tennessee Titans, is apparently, at the very least, out for several weeks and possibly out for the entire season due to a foot injury that he sustained during the game last Sunday. They were playing the Indianapolis Colts. And from what I gather, he had a fracture. They call it a Jones fracture. And it is the bone in your foot that either is part of or leads up to or actually is the pinky toe. I don't know exactly. I'm not a doctor, but somewhere along the lines there, that bone was broke during the game, and he's going to have surgery, and he could be out anywhere from 6 weeks to the entire season. Oh, I'm heartbroken. And again, if you follow football, you'll know why. The Titans were on a roll. They were looking good. There were people even making comments after Sunday's game that they could be Super Bowl bound. They had their division tied up. They were one of the best teams in the AFC. I could go on and on and on. Well, here's what's sad about that. Not just because Derrick is just one of the team members, but it is truly well known and agreed upon by most everyone in the profession that the offense was pretty much keyed on Derrick Henry. It ran through Derrick Henry. He was the cornerstone, so to speak, for the offense for the Tennessee Titans. So can you imagine losing someone like this and having to get up every morning now and saying to yourself, if you're one of the team members, OMG, what are we going to do? Because Derrick was the king. He was making us get to where we were wanting to go. I think as of the end of the game last Sunday, he had 10 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards rushing. And if you don't follow football much, let me tell you, that's impressive. We're only halfway through the season, and Derrick already had 1,000 yards rushing. He was on pace for having yet another 2,000-yard rushing season like he did last year. The guy's a beast. I just can't say enough about him. So all that news came down yesterday as I was driving into work. And so after I got over the shock and pulled myself off the floor and thought to myself, okay, well, all right. Well, it was a nice run, Titans, and it was nice, and it was a good thought, but pretty much the season's over. So I had to sort of work through that. And then I thought about something. I thought the team, the players that are remaining, those players that are having to deal with this news. And I thought to myself, I wonder if they're going to have the mental toughness to be able to manage this. You've got the owners, you've got leadership, you've got the general manager, John Robinson. You've got all the coaches, Mike Vrabel, and all of the different coaches within the different areas. Running back coach and offensive line, defensive line, and wide receivers and tight ends, and the list goes on of all of the different coaches on both sides of the team. This just doesn't affect the offense, but it affects the entire team. You've got the individual players themselves. You got all of the staff. You got the entire organization, the Tennessee Titan franchise, and everybody has to be wondering, what are we going to do? And it really gave me this idea to do this podcast today and to push this out to you guys. And that's the question. The question is, what do you do when you are faced with a defining moment in your life, just like the Titans are, what are they going to do? They haven't even played a snap yet. They haven't even gotten out to practice this week when this news came. It just out of the blue, right? Just came out of nowhere. And here you have, this just doesn't impact one person. This impacts hundreds and maybe thousands of people in that organization. And how in the world, as I was thinking through this, are they going to be able to pull all of these people together and support one mantra, one voice of saying, we've got to weather this storm and get through this? There's no question that this will have an impact on the team. No question at all. It's going to have repercussions on this organization. But the question is, and what I want to pose to you guys today, is what do you do when you are faced with a very challenging situation, defining moments? That's what I call this podcast episode. It's defining moments. What is a defining moment? It's just that. It's when a challenge or even maybe a thought or a consideration that we have about something, whatever that is in our life, comes to us and we have to make a choice. It's one of those moments where we don't get to skirt under the rug and sort of get away from it, right? It's one of those moments that we have to make a choice. We don't get to, like I said, we don't get to just walk away from it and say, I'm not going to decide. We have to make a decision, right? And that's what I want to share with you guys today. How important, how incredibly important, regardless of the things that you're facing, how important it is that you have to start making decisions that are going to define you for the rest of your life. So let's talk about that for just a minute. What is a defining moment? Let me give you some examples. Let's say that you have someone that approaches you and says, hey man, I got some stuff that's going to make you feel good. It's going to get rid of all those problems. And maybe you're in a position that things haven't been going well. Just life's been a little tough. It's been a little hard on you, It's been a little unfair. And you got somebody that's come up to you and said, hey, baby, I got the solution right here. I got what ails you, man. That is a defining moment in your life. Here's another one. You are in a position where you could, well, how do I want to say this? Let's say that you've been dating this girl for a little bit, not very long. Been out a few times, been hanging out, right? You guys hang out. That's the thing you do now is you want to hang out, right? And you find yourself in a situation where you guys are alone and the lights are low and the music is good. And there is an opportunity to take this relationship to another place. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? That's a defining moment. That's a defining moment for you to decide, do I do something here? Do I take this relationship to a point of no return? Or do I control myself? Do I hold back? Am I able to control myself? Do I have control over me? Or am I going to allow my emotions and my feelings to take over? Here's another one. You're in a situation where your grades are slacking and you need to get a grade letter higher in order for you to go into the college maybe that you're wanting to get into. And you've been given an incredible opportunity to be able to get some information from maybe somebody that's already gone through the class, or maybe your older brother, or whoever the case may be, or a girlfriend or somebody else, or an uncle. Hey, all of us are prone to make mistakes in our life. But you have access to someone that could pretty much give you the answers to this major, maybe it's a history class, and you need to get one grade level higher in order to be able to be accepted at a school that you're going to. That's a defining moment. Are you going to take advantage of that? Are you going to cheat? Let's just call it what it is, in order for you to be able to get to where you're wanting to go? Or are you going to make a decision that I'm going to do it on my own laurels? I'm going to do it with my own abilities. I'm going to work hard and I'm going to make it on my own. And here's yet one more. And I think this one is extremely important. I want you guys to listen very closely. Maybe you are struggling with some things at home. Maybe your parents, in your mind, don't get you. Maybe you're not even being raised by both parents. Maybe you're raised by a single parent right here. Nothing against single parents. Don't get upset with me. That's not my point. Isn't about you parents. This is for the boys, okay? But in your mind, or maybe you're being raised by guardians, or maybe you're raised by an aunt or uncle or grandma or grandpa. Maybe you haven't had the best upbringing that you would have liked to have had, to no fault of your own. Maybe there's divorced parents in your past, and you're struggling with that, and there is maybe just some angst and some frustration. And maybe, just maybe, you're contemplating doing something that'll end your life. You, my friend, are in a defining moment right here and now. And you have to make a choice as to end it or make a decision that even though you don't have all the tools and the resources that you think you need and deserve, that you're going to pull yourself up off the floor mat, right? After being knocked down a number of times, and you're going to get up one more time, and you're going to readjust your helmet on your head there, right? You know where I'm going. You're going to readjust your shoulder pads and pick yourself up, give you a squirt of Gatorade, right? And you're going to go back out on the field, and you're going to give it your best effort. Guys, those among thousands of different moments in your life are just a microcosm of defining moments in your life. You have to make the choice. You have to make the decision as to whether or not you are going to believe that you can overcome whatever it is that's coming at you, whatever that challenge is, that obstacle, that stumbling block, whatever it is. You have to make a decision how you're going to handle it. I can't tell you how to handle it. I know what I would tell you if you were to ask me. I would say you've got it in you. I would say there's no question in my mind. I don't even have to know you. You're probably thinking, this dumb jerk, didn't even know who I am. He doesn't know what I've gone through. He hasn't a clue what I'm dealing with. I don't need to. Down deep inside, way down deep inside in there, young man, there is something that you can grab onto, and you can believe in yourself, and you can pull yourself out of that, whatever that is. And let me just say, I don't preach much. I don't push my faith on this, but I got to tell you, a good dose of the good Lord above is a great starting place to involve him in this and to embrace him and let him help you get through some of these things that you might otherwise not be able to. Hey, and if you don't like that, you don't want this, listen, I've got believers and non-believers that listen to this. That's fine. I'm not trying to push anything on you. But I'm telling you, we are always striving for something more, and there is something out there for us to attain. And we want to stick around. I want to see you stick around long enough to know what that is. Until next time, stay strong, guys.